Okay.
Everyone, our group name is Data Dynamos and our team members are Wang Yishan, Xuerui, Zhou Shuchan. Today we are going to present our labs for part two. In lab for part one, we did some stuff about fetching the Reddit post and do some preprocessing and install into the MySQL database. For this part, we are going to do some topic modeling and clustering for the for the post and we'll do automation script for fetching new posts and do clustering. Okay, first we are going to briefly describe about our script for this assignment.
Okay, for first part of the code handles storing the Reddit post in a MySQL database, which includes creating the database and the table if they don't exist, and inserting the fetched post data. It updates the database with fields like username, post title, and the keywords. The logic here is the same as the lab for part 1, where we dealt with similar database operations. Let's now discuss how we generate embedding and cluster the Reddit posts. First, in the duck2vec function, we use the duck2vec to convert each post keywords into vector representations. We lemmatize the words to simplify them and tag each post with its ID. Using Genzyme's duck2vec model, we generate 100-dimensional vectors that capture the meaning of each post. These vectors allowed us to work with the text in a numerical format. And next, the k-means clustering function applies the k-means algorithm to group similar posts based on their embeddings. We set the number of clusters to 5 and assign each post to a cluster by minimizing the distance to cluster centrals. Afterward, the cluster assignments are added to the data frame, letting us group and analyze the posts more easily. This process helps us identify patterns and similarities between posts based on their content. Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to discuss how the auto fetch process works and how we visualize and display the clusters. The main loop function automates the process of fetching data from Reddit at regular intervals. It takes the number of posts and an interval as inputs, fetches the latest posts using create data frame, and stores them in the data frame while store DB. The loop continues, updating the data in real time based on the interval you set. During the waiting period, the program stays interactive by allowing user input. You can enter a message, and the search cluster function will find the most relevant cluster for that input, making the system responsive between data fetches. For visualization, we use principal component analysis (PCA) in the plot PCA function to reduce the embeddings into 2 dimensions. This makes it easy to plot the clusters on a 2D graph. The posts are color-coded by cluster, providing a clear visual representation of how the posts are grouped. Lastly, the display clusters function shows details about each cluster. It prints out sample post titles from the cluster and generates a word cloud, highlighting the most common keywords within that cluster. This helps us better understand the themes and topics in each group.
Okay, now we finished describing our script. Now we are going to do a demo to run it. We can set the time interval here in the terminal command. So I set to 1, which means that the script will auto fetch every 1 minute, and we enter. Then it is fetching. We want it to fetch like maybe 200 posts. And now it is fetching from Redis and processing data and doing embedding. And then we can see that it automatically does clustering for the fetched post and shows the sample message for each cluster and its word cloud. And this is cluster 2, this is cluster 3, cluster 4, cluster 5. And then this is the PCA plot, which is the two-dimensional one that the posts are separated into 5 groups. And now in the meantime, we can type a message to find a cluster, which let's call like new solar energy. It will show that this cluster is which it belongs to, and the message for this cluster, which is cluster 4, is also printed. We can see that the 1 minute has already passed, so it begins automatically fetching again. And yeah, the 1 minute has already passed, so it begins to, completely waited for 1 minute, so it just do again, and the things are the same thing. And the same thing, and here if we enter quit, it's just stopping the programs, and we can verify that these posts are saved into my SQL database. Okay, we log into the lab for the Reddit post, and now these are the posts that are saved, and they are keywords and topics which done by the fetching script. Okay, so our presentation ends here, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.